Hi friends, welcome to Cogitations, and today we're going to get into just looking at a methodology for reading the scriptures. All right, I am not a scholar, I am not an authority, I am a student, someone who reads and wants to study the scriptures so that we can have more understanding. So the purpose for this is for, as you go in, we have been taught certain things, we have become accustomed to doing things in a particular way, and this is what we're going to be able to prove for ourselves. Now, if I take any book, and I have a book here which I can turn to a random page, right? This is page 159. I'm not going to tell you what is the name of the book or what it's about. I'm just going to read a sentence and let's see how that flows. All right. Border policing, distinct from the vigilantism described above, evolved gradually over time, but also in bursts, usually related to war and economic crisis. Right, that's one sentence. If we had to put it in Bible terms, it's one verse. And if you speak English and if you can understand, you would obviously be able to understand what I read, right? In terms of the words that were used, the sentence was structured properly with the nouns and verbs in the right places and so on. So it did make some sense. But if you were to wonder, if I were to ask you what is the book about, you probably can guess, but that would be the best or closest you would come to the truth as to what the book really is about, because there's a lot that went before and there's a lot that's going to come after to make to help you to understand what the writer is trying to convey. Similarly, when you read the scriptures, there's no way that you can just pull a verse or a couple of verses out from the middle of a text and understand what it means. Most of the times when we do that, we are imposing our own ideas onto what that particular scripture actually means, right? And again, just as any other material that you would read, the proper understanding comes from being able to know what what the book is about, right? So again, in this, most of the times I would encourage people to read the entire book, right? At least the entire chapter, to try to understand what we're coming out here. Now, when we consider reading the scriptures, one of the things that is important to understand is that the original texts were not written with the breaks that we find. The chapter breaks, the verses weren't there, right? Most of them were written as entire blocks based on the books, of course, which books they are, right? Now, the understanding of having what the Bible actually says, what the theme is, because there is a theme that goes throughout the scriptures, is redemption, right? He has planned to redeem man, right? There was a issue that came up in Genesis chapter 3, right, which is where death actually started, right, where sin through disobedience caused man to now suffer the consequence of death. And in that very chapter, the Most High also introduces the remedy, right? And the entire Bible, all the books, all the prophets, right? All those who would have been used, by the Most High to execute this plan of redemption. That is the central theme. The one who is promised is Yahushua HaMashiach, of course, and the plan for a human to remedy the problem that a human started is the theme of the story, right? And if you look at it in a big picture, it opened in a garden with a tree at the center of man's dilemma, right, of choice, and it ends in Genesis, of course, and it ends in Revelation chapter 22. We see there is a tree at the end that again existed in the garden in the same conditions that man was given the garden, right? So the whole story in between Genesis and Revelation, everything works towards bringing man back to the state in which he was given the earth to have authority over it. Now, a lot of times we use the scriptures as a buffet, picking from it what we want, the things that we like. Out of it, you'll hear people using things like, "This is my favorite scripture verse," which is nothing wrong with having a favorite scripture verse, but the idea that you have to take this out of the entire body of writings, it begins to show that we have preferences for certain things. We go to the scriptures and we use certain texts. They will tell you, you can use this for healing. You go to this other verse. If you're having financial difficulty, you use this verse for wisdom and so on and so forth, right? For protection and all that stuff. But the Bible, remember, Yahushua in Matthew 4 talks about when he was tempted. He says that the man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yah. You live by every word, not by most of the words, or by the nice things that you like, the nice words, right, the encouraging words, the words of blessing, but you live by every word. And that is the importance of the view that we should take when we begin to read scripture, because it's I just mentioned the idea of viewing it as a buffet, picking what you want from it, right, to carry away. But it's more like medicine. You have to take everything in its right dose for it to have the proper effect. And that is my encouragement for us as we continue to read and to study and to grow in understanding, as we shape our lives based on the truth of Yah's word, and not just picking the things that we like so that we can probably follow them and not the other way around. All right, so this is just something that I wanted to share. All right, remember, there's no need to follow, like, share, subscribe, none of that stuff, but you do need to think. Right, continue to take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, Yah willing, be blessed.